Hey guys, so this video will be a very short, very specific video on how to remove the vintage bottom bracket lock ring. And it's usually found on the bikes before 90s or actually before 2000s. A lot of bikes use those really old style lock rings to lock the threaded area of the bottom bracket in there, and in those threaded bottom brackets there are loose bearings contained in those areas. The slightly more modern bottom brackets are all sealed bearing cartridge bottom brackets. So once you get those removed, you can replace with a modern style bottom bracket. And it's actually really easy to do. However, for this bike, this lock ring, it requires a special tool, as well as the cartridge or the threaded area of the disc in here also requires another special tool, which is a hassle. And so for me, because I am gonna just strip down all the parts and discard them, especially this crank arm, because I actually tried to remove it and it actually got a unfortunately stripped threads, which I was not able to remove this crank. Otherwise, I should have a better access to the lock ring over there to remove it. But back to the topic. So to remove this disc part of the lock ring, again, if you don't have that special tool, all you need is a fairly flat chisel. You don't need a really wide chisel, as long as it's got enough parts to grab onto the teeth over here. So you need a chisel, okay? And the next thing you need, a fairly heavy hammer. Over here I have a small sledgehammer, and I bought this at Walmart for probably, I think, less than $10, and it's a really heavy one. I think 24 ounce or maybe more. And you need something with more weight to it. So once you align your chisel on the disc, all you have to do is knock it with the correct direction. Okay, so most of those lock ring turns and loosens counterclockwise. Remember that? Most of those turns counterclockwise, with the exception of very few bikes, vintage bikes, I think Italian bikes, that actually turns the other direction. But quote me if I'm wrong, but again, this is the general direction for a majority of the bikes. It unlocks counterclockwise. And so you need to get your chisel over here and then just knock on the top of the chisel, strike it, and it should loosen the disc fairly easily, okay? Sometimes if the disc is really tight and you cannot loosen it, my advice is actually try to chisel the other side and turn clockwise just very slightly. So tap, tap, clockwise very slightly, and then go back to the counterclockwise and tap, 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 and it's gonna get loose. And once you have this ring loosened, and again, I have a threaded crank, so I cannot really remove it, the inside part should be fairly easy to remove, again, by turning counterclockwise. On the drive side, again, it's really easy to remove counterclockwise. Once you have that loosened with the wrench, you can just loosen this side by hand. And as you can see, once you loosen this side, the inside is gonna look like a loose bearing. Usually that's the case. And your spindle, which is hence kind of empty over here inside. And on the other side, again, I cannot remove it because I still have one more threaded area to loose, which is this little disc over here. For that, I'm gonna use my special wrench like that, and I'm just gonna grab the tip like so, grab the tip and then rotate. Okay, I can't really do it on the video, but that's a general thing on how I remove a vintage bottom bracket, especially with a stuck crank arm. Okay, so that's how you do it without any special tools. All right, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below. Otherwise, hope you found this video helpful in helping you getting a stuck crank arm or bottom bracket out of your vintage bike. And if you did, please do hit the like button and subscribe, and I would greatly appreciate your support. Thanks again, and take care.